Alright, this is Test Doctor for test number 7, which is all about surface area and volume. Remember how this works. You're supposed to only watch the questions that you missed on the test. You should have Schoology open so you know what those questions are. And then you should go back and forth only doing the questions you missed. At the end of the problem, I will show you a new problem that you need to get correct. Okay? So you need to do all of those pieces. On your Test Doctor sheet, you should have question 1. You should rework it while I'm doing it, and then have another box for the new question number 1. Okay? Don't forget. Alright, so question number 1 says match the front, side, and top views of the stack of cubes. Then find the number of cubes in the stack. So I'm just really quickly going to draw what we should look for in our pictures. The front view should be 3 on top, on the left side, and then 2 columns of 2 next to it, those 2, and then a single one and a single one. That's what we're looking for in the front. My side view, looking at this side or this side, you would see 1, 2, 3 high, and then my top view would just be how many across we have, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you should see 5 running horizontally.
Teacher, really quick, if you would like to have a vote count in the Beehive Books contest, I need you to fill out
the last thing you need to do is count the cubes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we're looking for those answers that match.
Make sure I have that information as well before 2:30. Thank you.
Sorry about the interruption, guys. Hopefully you can still hear me. Okay, so we're looking for the picture that matches this. So, under here, is this the right front view? 3,
Mr. White, would you give me a call in the office, 3399, Mr. White?
Okay, so we have 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. My side view is the 3 tall, and that is the correct view right there, this A. And then we're looking for which one is 9 cubes, and that would be H. So you should have matched A and H, okay? Now if you missed that problem, I would like you to draw the front, side, and top view of this stack of cubes, and also tell the number of cubes in the stack. So pause this and do this problem. Okay, question number 2. It says draw the net on your show your work boxes and then find the area of the entire surface area of the prism. Okay, so you should have a net with the base that is 8 by 4. Okay. Then you should have next to that a rectangle that is 4 by 5 on each side. Okay, and then we've got our triangles on the outside, and they are 8 by 3s. Okay, so that's what your net should look like. And then we're going to do the surface area. So let's do this rectangle first. This rectangle is 8 by 4. So orange, 8 times 4 equals 32. Okay, then we've got blue, my 5 by 4s. 5 times 4, that equals 20. There are 2 of them, so it's going to be 20 plus 20, which is 40. Okay, then I've got my triangles. Now remember, triangles are still base times height, but then you've got to cut them in half. So my base is 8. My height is 3. 8 times 3 equals 24, and then you cut that in half, and it equals 12. But there are 2 of them, so 12 plus 12 equals 24. Now I'm going to add all of those together. 20 plus 20 is 40. 40 plus 32 is 72. 72 plus 12 is 84. And 84 plus 12 more equals 96 inches squared. Now remember, you can use your calculator to do all of this, to do all of the multiplication, all of the addition. And if you miss that, I need you to draw the net and find the area of this prism right here. Alright, so pause this, get this done if you missed number 2. Okay, moving on. Question number 3 is the same as the last one. So we're going to draw the net, and then we are going to find the entire surface area. So my base is 9 by 6. I have a skinny rectangle next to that is 6 by 2. And I have one exactly like it on the opposite side. And then I have another 9 by 6 that's from the bottom, or the top, whichever one I drew first. Okay, then my skinny ones that are left are the front and the back. So the front and the back are 9 by 2s. Okay, so now we just find the area of each rectangle. All of the rectangles are base times height. So yellow, 9 times 2 equals 18. There are 2 of those, so 18 times 2 equals 36. Okay, my skinny ones right here are 6 by 2s. So 6 times 2, that equals 12. There are 2 of those, so it'll be 12 plus 12, or 12 times 2, which equals 24. I'm going to use a different color and write those really quick. This is 18 and 18 and 12 and 12. Okay, and then my last one is my 6 by 9. 2 of them. Okay, 6 times 9 equals 54. 54 times 2, because there are 2 of them, and that's going to be 108. And then I add all of those together. So 36 plus 24, that's going to be 60. And then I've got 60 plus 108. Whoops. Okay, this is weird. There we go. Equals 168 meters squared. Okay. So if you missed that question, I want you to do the same thing. Draw the net and then find the surface area of this prism right here. Make sure you pause it and get it done. Don't forget that each one will have 2, front and back, side and side, top and bottom. Okay, question number 4. Now we're on to pyramids. So this one has a square base. So I'm going to draw the net with the square base that is 5 by 5. Since it's only written once, we know that all of these are 5. And then the height of all of my pyramids is 4. And there are 4 of them. All of my triangles, I mean. The height is 4. Okay. So let's start with the middle, the base, which is 5 by 5. 5 times 5 equals 25. So my base is 25. Now let's figure out the triangles, which are all the same. So my base is 5. Base is 5. My height is 4. 5 times 4 equals 20. And then I divide that by 2, and that equals 10. So each of these is 10. 10, 10, 10, and 10. So I have 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. So my answer is 65 inches squared. If you missed that pyramid, please do this one as your makeup problem. Same thing, draw the net, then calculate the entire surface area. Okay, question number 5. Draw the net. This time we have a triangle base. and the base is 8, and the height is 11. I should have drawn that a little bit higher. In fact, I'm still going to. So 11's a little bit skinnier than that. Okay, so I've got an 8 by 11 is not my base. That, we're gonna do my base right here then. My base is 8 by 7, and all of my lateral faces are 8 by 11. And there are 3 lateral faces. Okay. So we'll start with the base, which is and 56 divided is 8, and the height that equal 44. Okay, it lagged for a second. Hopefully it's still with me. Okay, so I have 3 lateral faces that are 44 and the base, which is 28. So let's add those together. I've got 44 times 3 plus 28, which equals 160 centimeters squared. Okay, so if you missed question number 5, here is your makeup problem right here. Draw this net and find the surface area. Okay, question number 6. Now we're moving on to volume. Now remember, the formula for volume is length times width times height. So we're just multiplying all 3 of these numbers. So length is 5/6, width is 1/2, and height is 2/3. I'm going to check and see, can I do any cross simplifying? I have a 2 and a 2 that are diagonally across. So I can cross both of those off and make them 1. And I don't see any other cross simplifying I can do, so I'm just going to multiply straight across. 5 times 1 times 1 is 5. And 6 times 3 equals 18. So my answer is 5/18 meters cubed. Okay, easy enough. If you missed that, I would like you to do this one that also has fractions. Find the volume, length times width times height. Make sure you simplify your answer. Alright, question number 7 is also volume, but this one is not fractions. You just have to multiply these 3 numbers, and you are allowed to use your calculator. So the formula, volume equals length times width times height. My length is 9, my width is 6, my height is 2. So 9 times 6, which is 54, times 2 equals 108 meters cubed. Okay. If you missed that, please do this problem instead. Find the volume of this prism. Okay. Question number 8 says, find the area of the trapezoid. Now this is something we did on the last test, but we wanted to review it. So remember that trapezoid area equals base 1 plus base 2 times the height, and then all divided by 2. So base 1 is 6, base 2 is 12, and my height is 5. And I'll divide that by 2. So 6 plus 12 is 18. Let's see what 18 times 5 is. 90. 90 divided by 2 equals 45 inches squared. So when you do your trapezoid, remember, add the bases, multiply by the height, and then you have to divide by 2 at the end. Okay? Alright, next question, question 9, is find the area of the figure. This is a composite figure. So, for this one, we're going to break it into two shapes. We have a rectangle and a triangle. Okay. And for the rectangle equals base times height. Okay, so my base is 32, my height is 12, and that equals 384. Okay, then for my my triangle, that's going to be base times height divided by 2. So my base is 32. If this line is parallel to this line, they have got to be exactly the same length. So even though 32 isn't written there, it's got to be that. 32 times 20, that's my height, and then divide by 2. So 32 times 20 is 640, and then divide that by 2, and I get 320. Now, I'm not done. That was just the triangle. I've got to add 384 and 320 together. So add that to 384, and that's going to equal 704 feet squared. Okay, if you missed that one, this is the exact same figure. It just has different dimensions. So instead of the 32, 12, and 20, it's 7, 2, and 4. Okay, so find the area of this figure, make sure you add them together at the end, and then move along. Okay, we're on to question number 10. So this one says find the perimeter and the area of the polygon on the coordinate plane. Okay, so we need to find the perimeter and area. Remember, area is going to be base times height. So the base, we need to decide how many units across it is. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another way you could think about that is you could look and see what is the difference between 9 and 4, and it's 5. And then we need the height. The height is 1, 2, or the difference between 3 and 1 over here. So for area, we just multiply them. 5 times 2, it's just base times height. So 5 times 2, which equals 10 units squared. For perimeter, we need to add up all of the sides. And so we can know that those are exactly the same because they're parallel to each other. So you've got 5 plus 5 plus 2 plus 2. So 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 2 is 12, and 12 plus 2 is 14. So it's 14 units on that one. Okay, if you missed that, please find the perimeter and area of this polygon. Okay, pause that. You'll need to count across there. This is at -4 and this is at +2. That might help you. So you go 4 over and then 2 more, and this is at 3 and -1. Okay, if you can't see those. Alright, so figure out the perimeter and area. Remember, area is multiplying the base and the height, and perimeter is adding up all of the sides. Okay, question number 11. This is distributive property, okay? In distributive property, you need to multiply 6 by each number inside the parentheses. So I'm going to start with 6 times 2, which equals 12. Keep the symbol here. Then I do 6 times a, which equals 6a. Keep the plus sign. And then 6 times 9, which equals 54. Now some of you will put this in as your answer, but notice that this is a two-part question. The second part says, then combine like terms. So I don't have any a's that will combine with that, but these two are numbers. So I can add 12 and 54, which equals 66. So I should write as my final answer 6a plus 66. Okay? If you missed that one, I would like you to do this problem. Now, just a hint, only multiply what's inside the parentheses. Okay? A common mistake I see is that you guys will multiply 8 times 5 and you don't multiply it because 5 is not inside the parentheses. You only distribute 8 to everything inside the parentheses and keep those same signs in between. Okay, so give that one a shot. We're going to move on to question number 12. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so we can see a little better for these last few. Okay, question 12. Write the following word sentence as an equation. The quotient of 168 and a number x is 14. So, like I tell you guys, this will help you if you circle the numbers, which we've got 168, a number x, and 14, and underline the operation words quotient and is. Okay? Quotient is a word for division. The quotient of 168 and a number x. Remember, when you write a fraction problem, that's division. If you also wrote 168 divided by x, it accepted that answer. Okay, and then the last part is my equal sign, and then 14. Okay, so either of these are acceptable, but you know that I prefer this one because this is what you're going to see in algebra for the rest of your math career. Okay. All right, question 13 is write the expression. Now remember, just a second. Do this equation if you missed that. The quotient of 132 and a number x is 12. It's very similar to the last one. All right, now moving on to question 13. This is write an expression. Now remember, the only difference between an expression and an equation is equations have an equal sign and expressions do not. So we're going to treat it just the same way. The product of y and 5 divided by 2. There's my numbers, y, 5, and 2. And the product is a multiplication. That's the answer to a multiplication. And divided. Okay, so product of y and 5, that means I'm multiplying y and 5. And I'm going to write that as 5y. Because when you have a number next to a variable, that means multiply. This is the coefficient. And then it's going to be divided by 2. Okay, so this is what you should type in. You'll use the slash bar like this to type it into your computer. You also could have done 5y divided by 2, but please make sure that you do not do this because the number always goes in front. Okay? All right, if you missed that one, please write this expression, which is the product of x and 3 divided by 4. Okay, question number 14 is find the percent. What is 25% of 96? So, 25, 96, of is my operation word. Remember in class we talked about how if there's no extra words in between the numbers, you can just multiply. If there is, then you're going to have to do it some other way. So on this one, we can just multiply. 25% written as a decimal is 0.25 multiplied by 96. 5 times 6, that's 30. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Hold your place. 5 times 9 is 45. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 4 is 22. And add those together. 5 plus 5 is 10. 2, 3, 4. Bring down the 2, and I have 2 places behind the decimal, so I'm going to go over 2 right there, and my answer is 24. Now, you could have done this some other ways. 25% is a fourth of 96. So you could have done 96 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times, and into 16 4 times, which will give you the same answer. Okay, and there's even more ways to do it. You can do it whichever way makes sense to you, but that is, you should get the right answer if you're doing it a correct way. Okay, this replacement question, what is 75% of 96? You'll solve this the same way you did the last one. You can either, you can do it however makes sense to you in your brain. Either just multiply, or if something else works for you, go for it. Okay, question 15 says use a ratio table to answer the word problem. I don't really care if you use a ratio table. It says you're making a salad. The ratio of olives to croutons is 5:3. I guess if we made a ratio table, it would just be like this. You put 12 croutons in your salad, and croutons are on the bottom. Okay, this was olives, croutons. So we're increasing from 3 to 12. How many olives would you put? So this is my missing number right here. What did we multiply 3 by to get to 12? We times by 4. So we times 5 by 4, and we should get 20 olives. Okay, this question is not exactly the same, but you would solve it the same exact way. So in a recipe, the ratio of butter to flour is 2 cubes of butter for every 5 cups of flour. You put in 6 cubes of butter. How many cups of flour do you put in your recipe? So how much are you increasing by? And then multiply the flour by the same factor, okay? All right, question 16. Solve for x. I'm going to rewrite it over here. 2x plus 5 equals 45. This is a railroad tracks problem that has multiple steps. You need to get x alone, and we need to get rid of 2 and 5. Always get rid of what is not attached first. So I have plus 5. The opposite of plus 5 is subtract 5. And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So this zeroes that out. Now I've got 2x equals 40, because 45 minus 5 is 40. I'm going to switch colors again. Now I have 2 with the variable. It's multiplying by x, so to get rid of multiplying, I will divide by 2, and x equals 20. Now I check my solution. 2 times 20 is 40. 40 plus 5 equals 45, so that is correct. Okay, if you missed that one, please solve for x. In this question, which actually has an extra step, where you need to combine the x's first, and then get x alone. Okay? Alright. Moving on to the last 3. Okay, question 17 asks you to find the mean, median, mode, and range. Now if you remember, the mean is when you add them all together and divide by how many. It's the mean one because it makes you go to work. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 10 is 18. 18 plus 8 is 26, and 26 plus 9 is 35. Okay, so add them all together, and then we divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 35 divided by 7 is 5. That's my mean. Okay, my median is the middle one, so I slash off from the sides, and I come to the middle, and I get 5 again. I slashed off 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and 5 is the median, because the median is the middle. Mode is the one that occurs the most often. Which one happens more than once? There's only one that happens more than once, and it's 5 again. Okay? And then the range is the highest, subtract the lowest. So 9 minus 1, which equals 8. Okay? So that was actually not that bad, and you could have used your calculator for that one. The bonus question goes back to this. It says, go back to the last question and find the mean absolute deviation, or MAD, of the data set. Now, we know the mean is 5, okay? And remember, to find MAD, we have to subtract 5 with each number. So 5 minus 1, that equals 4. 5 minus 3, that equals 2. 5 minus 4 equals 1, and then I have 5 minus 5 twice. So those are both going to be zeros. Then I have 5 minus 8, which would be negative 3, but remember, we always keep it positive because we just want to know the absolute value, or the distance between the two. Then my last one is 5 minus 9, which is a difference of 4. Okay, so let me make sure I've got all 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do. I add those together. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7, 7. So I keep those. 7 plus 3 is 10. And 10 plus 4 is 14. Then I'm going to do 14 divided by 7. So it'll be 14 divided by 7, which equals 2. And so my mean absolute deviation is 2. That was not so bad at all. Okay, so for the two that I want you to do for your makeup problem, here's the new data set. Find mean, and then I want you to find mean absolute deviation as well. So that's 15. Well, bonus question number 2. Okay. Remember, volume equals gives me is 200. That's my equation. What's happening by 20? Your